What should have been the happiest day of Sharon's life quickly morphed into her ultimate nightmare. Standing at the altar with her fiancé, Howard Zachary, she was forced to watch in horror as explicit photos flashed across the giant wedding screen for all the guests to see. The images clearly showed her face in bed with a mysterious man, although his identity remained hidden because only his back and side profile were visible. Before Sharon could even process the shock, Howard grabbed her chin forcefully, publicly branding her a traitor, and struck her across the face. Defenseless and confused, Sharon's devastation compounded when her supposed best friend, Sally, stepped forward not to comfort her, but to claim her groom. In a sickening twist, Howard heartlessly ordered Sharon to strip off her custom wedding dress, handed it straight to Sally, and proposed to her right then and there. Sally whispered a venomous confirmation into Sharon's ear, revealing she had orchestrated the entire setup as a cruel wedding gift. Thrown out onto the street by security, Sharon's world shattered completely when she received a hospital call announcing her father's sudden death. Overwhelmed by grief and a sudden agonizing pain in her stomach, she collapsed in a pool of blood, crying out helplessly for her unborn baby. 5 grueling years later, the airport terminal hummed with life as a stronger, reborn Sharon returned from abroad as an award-winning interior designer. She was no longer alone. Holding her hand was Sebastian, her brilliant, proud, and fiercely protective 5-year-old son. While rushing back to his mother with an ice cream, little Sebastian accidentally bumped into a towering, icy-eyed stranger, staining his custom pants. The man was none other than Simon Zachary, Howard's immensely powerful and wealthy uncle, who controlled the Central Corporation. When his assistant scolded the child, Sebastian stubbornly poured his pocket money out of his little yellow duck bag to pay for the pants, earning a rare, faint smile from the usually cold billionaire. Though Simon dismissed the accident, he was struck by Sebastian's familiar face, which looked remarkably like a miniature version of his own. When Sharon rushed over to apologize and quickly pulled her son away, a fleeting scent triggered a buried memory in Simon's mind. It was the exact fragrance of the mysterious woman he had spent a drugged night with 5 years ago, a night that left only a bloodstain and a pair of earrings on his bedsheets. Intrigued and suspicious, Simon immediately ordered his assistant to investigate her. Sharon moved into a small apartment with her loyal friend Riley, unaware that her new job was at Central Corporation, the massive empire ruled by the Zachary family. On her very first day, she was summoned to the president's office, only to realize her new boss was the same imposing man from the airport. The tension thickened when Howard walked in to deliver documents, visibly shocked to see his ex-fiancée sitting confidently across from his uncle. Assuming she had returned to scheme her way into the family, Howard aggressively cornered Sharon in the hallway, threatening her and accusing her of seducing Simon. But the new Sharon refused to cower, slapping him across the face and demanding he back off, leaving Howard stunned by her newfound fire. The plot thickened when Sebastian fell ill with a stomachache, prompting a rush to the hospital. While picking up medicine, Sharon spotted a pregnant Sally acting intimately with a male doctor. Her blood ran cold as she recognized the doctor's side profile. It was the exact same man from the doctored photos that had ruined her wedding. Before she could confront them, Simon appeared in the corridor, having visited his ailing father. Simon surprisingly insisted on checking on Sebastian, creating an odd, almost family-like dynamic in the hospital room that left Riley secretly marveling at their physical similarities. Howard soon arrived to check on his grandfather and was equally rattled by the uncanny resemblance between his uncle and Sharon's child, though he angrily assumed the boy was the product of Sharon's alleged infidelity. Before leaving the hospital, a fateful encounter with her late father's doctor unraveled a dark secret. Dr. Collins handed Sharon a jade heirloom left by her father and accidentally let slip the horrifying truth. It was Howard who explicitly ordered the hospital to stop her father's life-saving treatments 5 years ago, effectively causing his death. Consumed by a burning desire for revenge, Sharon decided to crash Howard and Sally's extravagant 5th wedding anniversary banquet at the Westin Hotel. Lacking an invitation, she boldly intercepted Simon at the entrance, clinging to his arm and claiming to be his date, in front of the powerful Zachary patriarch, Douglas. Simon, amused by her audacity and deeply curious about her endgame, played along, leading her straight into the lion's den. Inside the luxurious ballroom, Sharon's arrival sent shockwaves through the Zachary family, particularly infuriating Howard's mother, Fiona, and a deeply rattled Sally. Sharon commanded the room by taking the initiative to invite Simon to the dance floor, moving in perfect, mesmerizing sync with the billionaire under the crystal lights. Boiling with jealousy, Howard dragged Sharon out into the corridor, screaming that she had given birth to a dirty bastard kid. Sharon snapped, delivering a fierce slap and warning him never to insult her son again. Unable to tolerate the humiliation, Sally took the stage and attempted to publicly shame Sharon, accusing her of seducing Howard and viciously pouring a glass of wine over her head. But Sharon didn't flinch. She marched up to Sally and delivered a devastating whisper. She knew the child Sally was carrying did not actually belong to Howard. Panic seized Sally, causing her to lose control and violently shoved Sharon backward into a massive tiered cake. As security rushed in to throw Sharon out, Simon's chilling voice echoed through the hall, freezing everyone in their tracks. Rebuking Sally for daring to touch his partner without permission, Simon picked up the battered Sharon in his arms and carried her out of the hotel into the cold night, cementing his protective stance. The fallout was swift and fierce. Returning to the family manor, Simon faced the wrath of his father and Fiona, who demanded he immediately fire Sharon to protect the family's reputation. Simon coldly refused, unwilling to let family vendettas dictate his corporate decisions. Desperate to eliminate the threat, Fiona ambushed Sharon outside her apartment the next morning, slapping her hard across the face. But she was stopped in her tracks by little Sebastian, who fearlessly threw himself in front of his mother to defend her, yelling at the evil woman to leave them alone. Fiona was left speechless, staring at the boy's face, and realizing he looked suspiciously like a Zachary, planting a seed of doubt in her mind. Despite the unprovoked attack, Sharon reported to work and accompanied Simon to inspect a new construction site for the Mountain Linguistic City project. While Simon stepped away to take a call, Sharon noticed a poorly installed chandelier swaying violently above his head. Without a second thought, she sprinted forward, shoving him out of the way just as a massive fixture crashed down, crushing her foot in the process. Simon was shaken by her selfless, reckless act to save his life, immediately rushing her to the hospital and ruthlessly firing the negligent managers responsible for the accident. Their complex dynamic took another dramatic turn when Sharon received an urgent call from Sebastian's school. Ignoring her painful foot injury, Simon drove her there, only to find Sebastian bruised and bleeding from a fistfight. The other boy had viciously bullied Sebastian, mocking him for being a fatherless bastard. As the bully doubled down, tauntingly demanding to see Sebastian's dad, Simon stepped forward, casting an intimidating shadow over the room. With absolute authority, Simon declared himself as Sebastian's father, forcing the terrified bully into silence and leaving the teacher marveling at how identical the man and the boy truly were. Back at Sharon's apartment, the tension reached a boiling point. Sitting on her small couch, Simon locked his piercing dark eyes onto hers, slicing through all the secrets. He demanded to know the truth about her child's paternity, point-blank asking if Sebastian belonged to Howard. Sharon fiercely denied it, leaving Simon staring back at her in deep curiosity, the pieces of the 5-year-old puzzle finally beginning to click into place in his mind.